The Scottsbluff City Council green lights nearly $750,000 in loans for Papa Moon Winery to expand to its second location. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, the city of Scottsbluff recently approved an economic development assistance agreement with Papa Moon Winery for more than $734,000. Owners Ryan and Catlin Massey are looking to expand their cultivation, production, and manufacturing of their craft beverages as they prepare to open their new location on Avenue B. The proceeds of the loans will be primarily used for purchase of equipment, renovations, and additional staff at the former Alex TLC building. Councilmember Jordan Caldwell asked how many new jobs would be created with their expansion.
We know we're going to need 15 people. Those people are going to be, half of those people will definitely be on the manufacturing side. We have a lot of wholesale orders out of state that we just can't fulfill, so we plan to do a lot of increase in distribution.
Massey also stressed that they are just expanding to a second location and their current operations will remain open as well.
A lot of wineries have, because of the growth requirement that has to be in state, most of them start kind of out of the city and at the farm. We'll keep that place for summer to do our weddings and all the other. We do Firefly Festival, we do bird watching and bug catching for the kids and all kinds of stuff. So
Ryan and Catlin are hoping that their new location will be open before the spring of 2024. Well, a 29-year-old Chadron man who is slated to stand trial this week in connection to a violent assault that caused the victim to sustain life-threatening injuries has pleaded no contest to amended charges. In October of 2021, Chadron police arrested Sean Russell for severely beating a man, as well as stealing several firearms and the victim's vehicle. Last month, he pleaded no contest to 2 counts of attempted possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, both of which are Class 2 felonies, and a misdemeanor charge of third-degree assault. Russell faces up to 50 years in prison on each of the weapons charges when he's back in court for sentencing on November 7th. And a 61-year-old Alliance man has been sentenced to prison following an 8-month-long Wing Drug Task Force investigation. On Monday, Frankie Baresh was sentenced to 3 to 5 years in prison on a conviction of possession of meth with intent to distribute and 3 to 5 years in prison on a conviction of distribution of methamphetamine. Court documents show that Baresh sold meth to a CI working for the Wing Drug Task Force a total of 5 times between August of 2022 and April of 2023. When authorities served a search warrant on his residence on April 24th, investigators found 4 baggies with suspected methamphetamine totaling approximately 16 grams. District Judge Travis O'Gorman ordered that both sentences run consecutive to each other, and if he doesn't lose any good time, he could be released from prison in October of 2026. We'll have more news right after this.
The journey of a dream becoming reality. When we're young, a dream develops into a passion. That passion continues to manifest and grows as you do. It becomes all you want to do and all you want to be. It gives you direction. It drives you. Then your dream has become a reality. When that dream is ready to be reality, Platte Valley Bank will be with you every step of the way.
Life Care promises us that we are looked after and taken care of properly.
If I didn't have Life Care, I would be probably scared to death about having enough money for when I got older or when I got sick.
Moving in here was an easy decision and in fact a no-brainer. I looked at it as actually buying long-term care insurance and in retrospect a good move.
One of the things that convinces me that we did the right thing is no matter what happens, we will constantly be taken care of.
The whole thing is just vital because you don't have to be worried about what's ahead for you. It's there, it's in black and white, and that's reassuring.
This is home. It has been from the day I moved in.
This is Jason Jorgensen. It is once again time for Husker Chat, brought to you by Acres Equipment, as we talk Husker football with the publisher of Husker Online, Sean Callahan. Nebraska with a bye last week, back at it this week. They take on Northwestern. Sean, it seems like that win before the bye has certainly got some folks fired up, and Nebraska has to feel they have some momentum going into this one against Northwestern.
Yeah, they got a big win in Illinois, but it's like they got a win on the bye week too. I think when you look at the opponents they play and kind of how things looked, I mean, you had Illinois beating Maryland on the road, who at the time Maryland looked to be maybe the fourth best team in the Big Ten. So that gives that win even more credibility. And then you look at the rest of the teams on the schedule. They went a combined 1-4, with Iowa beating Wisconsin being the only win. So it's a very manageable stretch. Everybody knows it. But I think Matt Rule is very cautious to look ahead because, look, that's been half the problem with Nebraska football. I think you kind of want to skip steps of building a program back up. And Matt Rule, that's his job. Like, keep these kids focused on a team that beat Nebraska a year ago in Ireland.
Sure, most of the Big Ten West looks at this the same way Nebraska does. They've got to say, hey, we could win all these or we could lose all these.
No doubt. I mean, you're going to see a lot of games every week where the point spreads are close, and it's going to come down to ball security, execution on third down, tackling, punting. It's not going to be sexy. You look at the offenses in this division, the offenses range from 250 yards a game in Iowa to 399 yards in Wisconsin. So there is not an elite offensive unit in this division. There's very good defense, though, very good special teams. And you've got to find ways every week to probably get 24 to 30 points. And that's going to win you most weeks in this remaining schedule for Nebraska.
Let's veer off course a little bit. How about the Iowa Hawkeyes? Have you ever seen anything? I mean, how are they doing? I mean, it is truly ugly football. They have won this way before, but wow, to just be so one-dimensional and still win football games in a way is almost impressive.
Yeah, Kirk Ferentz has just kind of said, hey, this is who we are. And, I kind of chuckle that they have these metrics in there for his son on the contract when I think only one offense right now in the Big Ten West would be able to keep their offensive coordinator on those metrics. So I don't see how that's going to go because Iowa could go 11-1 or 10-2 right now. And I think 10-2 is likely. But they've lost their quarterback. They lost their two tight ends, but they have at least figured out a formula how to win. And it's impressive. I mean, there's a lot of good, everyone's going to give a lot of credit to Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State for the jobs they're doing at those teams. But what Iowa's done, considering the circumstances, it's an equally impressive coaching job to have that team where it's at, where they could maybe go 11-1.
Today on Husker Chat, we're joined by Sean Callahan. We talked Nebraska and Big Ten football. Sean, Nebraska already came out this week and said Heinrich Haarberg is going to start at quarterback. That surprised you at all?
No, I think Matt Rule tried not to make it a big deal. He didn't want to make this and I've got one big announcement to make. I mean, I think he wanted just to kind of say, yeah, Heinrich's going to be the guy. He's played well. He's 3-1. He'll start, and Jeff will be ready to go. So I do think Matt Rule has handled that situation like a pro, and that's how Matt Rule always is. He knows how to, handle and address situations like this. And Haarberg has earned it. The biggest difference is he hasn't turned the ball over like Jeff Sims did. And he's made plays that easily could have been turnovers. The difference was his weren't turnovers, and Jeff Sims had the 8 turnovers over those first 2 weeks.
All right, this week, Huskers back at home. They take on Northwestern. I'll tell you what, I'm surprised Northwestern's 3-3 after what all went down this summer for those guys. I wouldn't have thought they would have had much of a product on the field, but I guess in a way you have to give credit to David Braun and that coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, they had the 2 non-conference wins. Beating Howard is expected, but I think beating Minnesota, especially being down in that game, that's the one that gets your attention because obviously Minnesota, at least at that time, you're like, wow, that's a major upset considering the lead the Gophers blew in that game. That Northwestern was able to win that game, and David Braun had no connections to the Northwestern program until he got there this season. So for him to step into those shoes for that situation, it's really impressive because I think most thought this is going to be a 1-11, maybe 2-10 team, and he's got them already at 3 wins.
What have you seen from them? It looks like they've had some issues on offense, but defensively they haven't been bad. They've found a way to stay in some games.
Yeah, I mean, they're like a lot of teams in the Big Ten West. Everyone's pretty limited right now in this division on offense. You know, they've had quarterback injury issues, just like a lot of teams in the division. I mean, but Northwestern's ranked 120th nationally in total offense at 306 yards per game. So they're not going to light the scoreboard on fire with points and drives. I think the biggest question is, will Ben Bryant be back this week, or will Brendan Sullivan get the start at quarterback? I mean, they've had to kind of battle and navigate through that quarterback situation, like Nebraska, like Iowa, like Wisconsin, like Illinois. It really is amazing when you look at the Big Ten West, the number of teams that have had quarterback injuries in this division.
I guess it's probably not a surprise that Nebraska is a favorite in this game, but are you surprised by the line at this point?
Not really, because it's in Lincoln. It's coming off a bye. I mean, I do think Nebraska's playing pretty well. I mean, they went on the road and beat Illinois by 13, and that game could have been a lot more than that. I mean, I think that could have been a 41-7 type win or 34-7, and they still won by 13. So I think Illinois is a lot better than Northwestern, and I think that game was on the road. This one's at home. It's off a bye. It's going to be gorgeous weather. So there are a lot of factors in the game, but I do think the crowd will be a nice lift for this team to come back home, especially on a really nice Saturday afternoon in the stadium.
All right. Hopefully Nebraska can get off to a good start and a pretty favorable last 6-game stretch of the season. Sean, as always, we appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it.
And that was Sean Callahan, the publisher of Husker Online, joining us for Husker Chat. We're here every week. It's brought to you by Acres Equipment. I'm Jason Jorgensen.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the FNBO Ag Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
Western Nebraska is not known for mint, but that could change in the future. Mint thrives in most soil types and can be harvested much like hay or alfalfa. In Scottsbluff at the UNL Panhandle Research Extension and Education Center, plots of peppermint are being grown. Bijesh Maharjan, Nebraska Extension Soil and Nutrient Management Specialist, says they were harvesting peppermint on October 9th.
So they were getting another cut on peppermint this time of the year. So we have a Nebraska Department of Ag funded peppermint and spearmint fertility trial going on for the second year.
Maharjan says they are looking at various growing aspects with mint to make it profitable for growers.
What we've been looking at is 2 varieties of the mint, and on top of that, trying to come up with the best fertilizer management practice for the mint in the valley. So basically the experimental design includes peppermint, spearmint, and each of that mint variety has several fertilizer regimes, different rates of nitrogen, different sources of nitrogen fertilizer. So trying to assess what's the best way to manage nitrogen for mint in our area to get the optimal production.
So far, the mint plots perform well with nitrogen fertilizer applications, but it will take a few more years of growing mint to get definite answers for growers on the optimal rates. Maharjan says he has been working closely with Dr. Deepak Santra on the mint project, and they appreciate support from the Nebraska Department of Agriculture. I'm Chabela Guzman with the UNL Panhandle Research Extension and Education Center.
Logos in Gearing is the place to get all of your school spirit gear, personalized gifts, and promotional items for your business and employees, and banners for any special event. Logos is also the only place to stop for custom screen printing or embroidery. You can even design it yourself on their interactive website. Stop into Logos today. They'll design it, print it, and have it to you in no time. There's no job too big or small for Logos. That's Logos in Gearing.
Let's take a peek at your weekend community calendar, brought to you by Riverstone Bank. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you take advantage of every adventure. We know you have plans, goals, and dreams. Let us help you with them. Whether you are just starting the business you have always imagined or looking to grow your existing one, we have a business loan to fit your needs. Stop in and see us at Platte Valley Bank and let us help make your dreams a reality. You belong here. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And finally tonight, the West Nebraska Arts Center's Halloween Classics Booze and Brews fundraiser event will be held later this month at the center in Scottsbluff. There will be a beer tasting, a Halloween costume contest, drawings, trick-or-treat games, and door prizes. Program Director Stephanie Coley explains what this year's theme is all about.
So we got Halloween classics. Look up your favorite Halloween classic horror movie person and dress as them and come to the Art Center on October 27th, 7 to 10. We're having a lot of fun. We got some games, live auction, door prizes, pretty much everything you could ever want for a Halloween party.
Coley also says new this year is a Bone Pile Wine Surprise Station.
So the Bone Pile is a mystery games. The wine bottles will be in plastic brown bags. You buy one for $20 and then you have to take it out to your car and you can't see if it's expensive or cheap bottle of wine until you get home. So it'll be a fun mystery night.
Tickets can be purchased at the West Nebraska Arts Center, online at thewnac.com, or by calling 632-2226. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.